What if the most hyped prospect of the modern NBA was thrown back into the golden era of basketball? No load management, no three-point revolution, just raw, physical 80s ball. Victor Wembanyama in a world where legends like Magic, Bird, and Jordan rule the court. Could Wemby not only survive, but thrive in the toughest era of the game and become the GOAT? Today, we put it to the test. Let's find out if Wemby can carve out his own legacy and stand above the giants of the past. But before we get to all that, we must go back to where it all started in the 1984 NBA Draft.
The San Antonio Spurs select
Victor Wembanyama from Nanterre, France.
It's 1984, Hakeem goes first, Jordan goes third, but sandwiched between them, Victor Wembanyama to the Spurs. Can this 7'5 phenom take over the league ruled by legends, or will the pressure of the 80s prove too much? Wemby's rookie season starts now. Wemby's rookie season is in the books. The Spurs fought their way to the 7th seed, having a record of 41-41, and while he didn't win Rookie of the Year thanks to Michael Jordan, Wemby still made his mark, making all-rookie first team as he had averages of 15.7 points, 8 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks. Wemby's playoff debut didn't go as planned as he got swept by Magic Johnson and the Lakers, but every great player faces setbacks. Now it's time for season 2. Can Wemby bounce back stronger and take the next step towards greatness? In just his second season, Wemby has erupted onto the scene as he clinched the Most Improved Player award and landed on the All-NBA first team, having averages of 21.3 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 2.8 blocks. He also propelled the Spurs to the 5th seed in the East with a record of 50-32, but Wemby's rise is just beginning. What heights will he reach next? And now it's time for the playoffs. Despite a stellar second season, Wemby and the Spurs faced another tough playoff exit, falling to Karl Malone and John Stockton's Jazz in 6 games. Year 3 wraps up familiar results, but fresh determination as Wemby has secured another All-NBA first team nod and is always a lock for an all-defensive team, as this year Wemby had averages of 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. The Spurs are the 5th seed once more. Now the question looms as the playoffs begin. Can Wemby lead this team past the first round? In a thrilling first round showdown, Wemby and the Spurs sweep Hakeem and the Rockets, marking Wemby's first playoff series win. Up next in the second round will be a rematch up against the Showtime LA Lakers. In an epic 7-game battle, Wemby and the Spurs pushed the Showtime Lakers to the brink. Despite their efforts, they fell in Game 7. As Year 4 dawns, a new chapter begins for Wemby and the Spurs. They've drafted David Robinson, setting the stage for a formidable Twin Towers dynamic duo. This pairing promises to redefine the Spurs front court, combining Wemby's versatility with Robinson's dominant presence. Will this powerhouse duo be the key to finally capture that elusive championship? The anticipation is high as the season approaches. Season 4 sees Wemby reach new heights, driving the Spurs to the 2nd seed in the West with a record of 58-24. He also secured both All-NBA first team and All-Defensive first team, showcasing his elite skills as he had averages of 22.7 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Now as the playoffs loom, the stakes are even higher. With David Robinson by his side, can Wemby lead the Spurs through the gauntlet and contend for a title? The Spurs season ends in a heartbreak as they fall to Clyde Drexler and the Blazers in a grueling 7-game series in the Western Conference Finals. Despite this loss, the season marks a significant milestone for Wemby and the Spurs, showing their potential to become a championship contender. Year 5 brings mixed fortunes for the Spurs as they slip down to the 5th seed, but the spotlight shines on the Twin Towers as both Wemby and David Robinson earn All-NBA first team honors, and Wemby secures his very first Defensive Player of the Year as he had averages of 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. The Spurs' regular season woes would bleed into the postseason as the playoff run comes to an abrupt halt as they fall to the Golden State Warriors in 5 games. A monumental season for Wemby. He just claimed his very first MVP award and secured back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year honors as he had career highs with averages of 25.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. Not to mention, Wemby also led the Spurs to the best record in the NBA with a record of 66-16. With everything clicking, the Spurs are primed for a deep playoff playoff run. Can Wemby cap off this MVP season with a championship? The stage is set for greatness. The Spurs have finally broken through after years of hard-fought battles. Wemby and the team have made it to their very first NBA Finals, but standing in their way is none other than Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Game 1 sees the San Antonio Spurs making their mark as they blow out the Bulls 130-112 to take the 1-0 series lead, as the Twin Towers went off with David Robinson dropping 38 and 9 and Wemby having 27, 12 and 5. But game 2 is a different story as the Bulls steal home court advantage, beating out the Spurs 119-94 to tie up the series 1 apiece, as Michael Jordan went off dropping 37, 4 and 9 and Wemby had an off game only having 16 and 11. We are hopping into game 3 here. It is currently 101-101. 2 minutes left to go here in the fourth. Let's check out the stats. As Michael Jordan, he's got 33 and 9 and Scottie Pippen has 27, but when I did check in, Scottie Pippen is fouled out, so that's a big time loss for the Bulls. And on the other side, Wemby's got 31, 10 and 6. David Robinson with 21 and 10. And now let's hop right up in this bit. It is currently the Spurs ball, 101-101. Minute 59 left to go here, ladies and gents. Whoever win this game, as Rod Strickland is gonna get fouled, he can possibly take the lead. But like I was saying, whoever wins this game is gonna go up 2-1 in this series. Spurs took game 1. Bulls took game 2, and now the Spurs are trying to steal the Bulls' home court advantage as Rod Strickland is going to go 1 for 2 from the free throw line there. And here's MJ throwing up to his point guard, and he's going to smoke the layup. Rebound, Iceman. And here we go, he's pushing the pace over to the MVP, Victor Wembanyama, as he's pumping, he's pulling. And he cannot get it to go, but rebound David Robinson. No good, but he gets the rebound put back as he jams it all over their center as the Spurs take the 3-point lead here. And the Chicago Bulls have the ball. Here's MJ. He's spinning. He's driving, and he cannot get it to go. Great defense there by the Spurs. And here comes San Antonio. Here is Rod Strickland at the top of the key. It looks like they're trying to set it up for Wemby. And they're going to just hold it out here. Never mind. They're trying to set it up for the Iceman, who's going to give it over to Banks. Banks over to Wemby in the post. He's going to hook, and he gets it to go. Victor Wembanyama with the clutch shot as the Spurs are taking over here in the fourth, going up by 5 points with just under a minute left to go. Here's MJ. He's driving. He's laying, and he won't go, but he is going to get to the free throw line. And here's MJ at the line. The first one is up, and it is good. And the second one is also up, and he gets that one to go as well. It is still a pretty close game here, ladies and gents, with just under a minute left to go. Spurs only lead by 3. Here is Wemby taking the ball up, and it looks like they're going to try to waste some clock down here and try to get the best shot available. Wemby with the 2-man game with Robinson. He's pulling up for 3, and he can't get it to go. Rebound Banks. He can't get that to go. Rebound Chicago. And here comes the Bulls down the other end. Here's MJ slashing, laying, and it's no good again. Rebound San Antonio. And if you are the Spurs here, you're probably going to want to shed some of the clock. Here's Wemby sizing up at the top of the key. Going to run that 2-man game again with Robinson. He's pulling the midi, and it's no good. Wemby had a wide open shot there. Here are the Bulls down the other end. Up to the randomly generated guy. They have 8 seconds. He's being guarded by David Robinson. He is just standing there. What is this game? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, you guys. 2K is just a bad game. Come on, man. I mean, hey, the Spurs are going to win this game 106-103, but what an anticlimactic ending right there. And the Spurs are going to go up 2-1 in the series. Game 4 sees a dominant performance as they go back into Chicago and blow out the Bulls 116-91 to take the commanding 3-1 series lead, as Wemby and Robinson are just no match for the Bulls, as Wemby put up 39 and 2 and Robinson had 28, 11 and 5. We are hopping into game 5 here, and it is currently 97-97 with a minute 45 left to go. Let's check out the stats. And it looks like David Robinson is leading the way. He's got 28 and 17. And Wemby just struggling here in a closeout game, only with 8 points and 8 rebounds. Has 3 turnovers. He's got to turn it up if the Spurs going to want to win this game. And on the other side, MJ, and only MJ with 38 points. Where is Scottie Pippen, man? Also just creaming the bed. 5 points. I think he also fouled out as well. That is another just huge game for Pip to foul out in only 16 minutes. Not good for the Bulls, but here we go. 97 apiece, minute 45 left to go, and it is the Spurs ball here. We need to see Wemby turning up here down the stretch because him only having 8 points is unacceptable as Strickland is going to pull the pull-up three and it is no good. Here is Michael Jordan down the other end trying to take the lead. He's slashing, he's laying, and he gets it to go, and the Spurs are going to need a timeout. All right, the Spurs down 2 points here, minute 30 left to go. Here is Rod Strickland. They gotta feed Wemby here down the stretch. They're gonna run a little off-ball screen. Here's the Iceman. He's driving over to Wemby. He's got an open look from the midi, and he gets it to go. Wemby with the clutch bucket there to tie up the game, 99 apiece. Minute 15 left to go here in the fourth. Here is MJ down the other end trying to respond as he gets it over to Theus in the corner. He's pumping. He's driving. And the layup is no good. Rebound Robinson up to Banks. The Spurs are pushing the pace. Wemby is spinning and laying, and it's no good. Oh, what a clutch shot that would have been by Wemby to take the lead, but he can't get it to go. Here's MJ shooting it over Wemby, and it's no good. Great defense there by Wembanyama. And here come the Spurs pushing the pace once again. George Gervin with the nasty in and out over to Strickland, and he gets the shot to go. Rod Strickland with the clutch mid-range jumper to put the Spurs up by 2. And the Chicago Bulls need a timeout. 41 seconds left to go. I think we know who the Bulls are going to go to here for this final shot. They got to get it into MJ's hands. I think he has 40 points. Here's Theus over to Mike. He's pumping. And he's going to lose control of the ball over to Theus for the mid-range, and he gets it off the glass. What a clutch shot there. And here we go, ladies and gents. Under 28 seconds left to go. Strickland, I thought he was about to pull that bit. Here's Wemby up to Gervin. And they're going to slow things down, going to try to get a good shot. They're going to feed Robinson in the post. They like this matchup. He's spinning. He's laying. No good. But the rebound putback is no good. Gets it again. And it's no good. Oh, David Robinson had so many good looks to take the lead, and he can't get none of them to go. And the Bulls can possibly have their game-winning shot right here. Only 10 seconds left to go here. And they got to feed MJ, and it looks like that's what they're gonna do. Here's Mike. 8 seconds. 6, 5. He's sizing up. He's driving. He's hitting the shot, and it's no good. Rebound Wemby. He's got to throw it up, and it won't go. And we got overtime. And in overtime sees the San Antonio Spurs taking care of the Bulls as they close out the series to win the 1990 NBA championship, as Victor Wembanyama completes his legendary season and wins his very first NBA Finals. Wemby didn't win the Finals MVP because of David Robinson, but he still had a very impressive series where he had averages of 25 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. Year 7 is done, and Wemby is officially unstoppable as he just claimed his second consecutive MVP, having averages of 24 points, 10.5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. With back-to-back MVPs and a growing legacy, Wemby's on path to greatness, but the real question remains, can he translate this regular season dominance into a championship? The journey continues, and all eyes are on Wemby. The Spurs are back in the NBA Finals, and Wemby is chasing history. After beating MJ and the Bulls last season to win his first championship, Wemby now aims for back-to-back titles, and it'll be a rematch of last year where they'll be facing off against MJ and the Chicago Bulls. But MJ is still on the hunt for his first ring, and both he and Wemby are fighting to claim the GOAT status. This isn't just about winning a title, it's about defining their legacies. 2 all-time greats, 1 stage, and the battle for supremacy continues. And it will be the San Antonio Spurs taking game 1 as they beat out the Bulls 120-117 to take the 1-0 series lead, as David Robinson did his thing, dropping 38 and 6. And it is the Spurs taking care of their home court as they beat out the Bulls 108-90 to take the 2-0 series lead, as Wemby led the way, dropping 21, 6, and 8. But the Bulls are not done just yet because they go back into Chicago and beat out the Spurs 111-99 as MJ led the way, dropping 34, 7, and 6. We are hopping into game 3 here. It is currently 101-98 with just under 2 minutes left to go here in the fourth. Let's check out the stats. As we see Scottie Pippen, he's got 25, MJ with 24, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, Scottie Pippen, man, he is just a foul merchant as he's got 6 fouls, and he is not playing. And on the other end, David Robinson leading the way. He's got 22. Wemby with an okay game, 16, 5, and 4. You'd expect the MVP to be scoring around 20 plus here in the finals, but he just hasn't really been scoring that much here in these last couple of games in the finals. And speaking of Wemby, here he is with the mid-range. Cannot get it to go. And here are the Bulls down the other end, trying to make this a 2-2 series, as Reggie Theus is going to miss the pull-up midi right there. If the Spurs win this, they can make this a 3-1 series and go back into San Antonio and possibly close out this series, as Wemby misses the layup, but he gets his rebound and he's going to put it right back up and in, and the Spurs are going to only be down by 1 point right here. And here is MJ down the other end. He's going to be slashing over to Reed, back out Ron Harper. Let's see if they're going to try to get MJ the rock. They're going to get it over to Reggie Theus, and they're going to run a little pick and roll here. Here's Reggie. He's slashing. He's spinning. And he's going to get stopped up. Great defense there by San Antonio. And Wemby gets the rebound, and the Spurs can possibly take the lead. Here is Elliott over to Anderson. Back out top Wemby. And here's Wemby. Let's see if they're going to run a little pick and roll. It looks like they tried to. He's going to get stopped up right there, but he has a good look at a layup. No good. Rebound Robinson, and he misses that as well. David Robinson had a chance to take the lead, but he couldn't get it to go. Here's MJ over to Reed. Wemby on him. The Spurs desperately need a stop here. And here is Theus over to Harper. They're running some off-ball screens for MJ, and he gets a wide open mid-range, and he won't go. And rebound Wemby. Timeout Spurs. Is Wemby clutch? 24 seconds left to go here on the clock. Here's Wemby. He's going to pull the quick two. No good. Rebound Robinson. And that won't go either. David Robinson is just missing wide open layups, but I also don't understand why Wemby took such a quick shot. And the Spurs are now going to have to play the foul game. Here's Ron Harper at the line, as he's going to miss the first free throw. The door is still open here for San Antonio. Ron Harper at the line, and he goes 1 for 2. This game is not over just yet. The Spurs have an opportunity to possibly force this game into OT. Here is Wemby with the ball. 10 seconds left to go here. Are they going to go for the win, or are they going to go for the tie? Wemby sizing him up. He's driving. He's spinning. He's laying. And it won't go. And the Chicago Bulls are going to tie this series up 2 apiece. And it will be the San Antonio Spurs just barely beating out the Bulls to take the 3-2 series lead, as they win out 102-100. As Rod Strickland led the way, dropping 22 points. But the Chicago Bulls did not back down, as they blew out the Spurs at home, beating them out 124-97 to force a Game 7, as MJ drops 47 and 8. But that Game 6 win did not matter, because the Spurs would go back onto their home court and blow out the Chicago Bulls to send them home and win their second straight consecutive NBA Finals, as Victor Wembanyama completes another legendary season and wins his second NBA Finals. Wemby didn't win the Finals MVP because of David Robinson, and he kind of struggled this series, as he only had averages of 17 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Wemby's legacy is growing, but the journey doesn't stop here. With 2 titles in his hand and MJ still chasing his first, the question is, can Wemby and the Spurs build a true dynasty, or will the league next season bring new challenges? The chase for greatness continues. Year 8 is in the books, and Wemby continues to dominate, with the Spurs finishing with a 61-21 record, securing the 3rd seed in the West, as Wemby once again lands an All-NBA first-team appearance, as he had averages of 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. But now the real challenge begins. The Spurs are entering the playoffs with one goal in mind, a 3-peat. Can Wemby and the Spurs etch their names into history by completing the rarest of feats? Or will this be the season the dynasty is tested? The road to championship starts now. The quest for the 3-peat ends in a shock, as Wemby and the Spurs, after an impressive regular season, were eliminated in the first round by the Kings. We are a decade in, and Wemby shows no signs of slowing down, as once again he earned All-NBA first team honors, as he had averages of 27 points, 11 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.5 blocks. And he led the Spurs to the best record in the league with a record of 63-19. After last season's tough Western Conference Finals loss, Wemby and the Spurs are back on top and ready to prove they're still the best team to beat. With the playoffs looming and all eyes are on Wemby, can he guide the Spurs back to championship glory? Despite a dominant regular season and the best record in the league, Wemby and the Spurs have fallen short once again. In the Western Conference Finals, they were taken down in 5 games by Hakeem and the Houston Rockets. It's another disappointing end to what seemed like a championship caliber season. As Wemby enters in his second decade in the league, the pressure is mounting. Can he push through these last hurdles and bring another title to San Antonio? In year 11, Wemby continues to dominate as he secures his 3rd MVP award, putting up averages of 26.7 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2.5 blocks. And he also led the Spurs to the best record in the NBA once again, having a record of 65-17. With Wemby at the helm, the Spurs are once more a top team in the league, and the pressure is on to turn regular season success into postseason glory. After several near misses, can Wemby and the Spurs finally break through and reclaim the championship? The stakes have never been higher as they enter in the playoffs. After years of chasing greatness, Wemby and the Spurs are back in the NBA Finals, and once again, it's a showdown with Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Both Wemby and MJ are searching for their 3rd championship, but Wemby holds the edge with 3 MVPs to MJ's 2. This is more than just a battle for a title, it's a battle for legacy. Who will take the lead in the race for greatness? The stakes couldn't be higher than these two titans clash for the ultimate prize. Game 1 sees the Spurs setting the tone as they beat out the Bulls 118-108 to take the 1-0 series lead, as Rod Strickland led the way, dropping 25 and 8, but Wemby also had a good game, dropping 22, 9 and 2. And game 2 is a similar story as the Spurs take advantage of their home court and beat out the Bulls 114-105 to take the 2-0 series lead, as Wemby led the way, dropping 25, 13 and 3. And it is Wemby and the Spurs going into Chicago and blowing out the Bulls on their home court 126-111 to take the commanding 3-0 series lead, as Wemby went off, dropping 28, 13 and 6. But the Bulls were not going to get embarrassed on their home court as they beat out the Spurs 121-103 to make this a 3-1 series lead, as MJ and Scottie were unstoppable, with Mike dropping 34, 6 and 10 and Scottie with 31, 4 and 8. But that game 4 win would not matter because Wemby and the Spurs would go back into San Antonio and blow out the Chicago Bulls to close out this series and win the 1994-95 NBA Finals, as Victor Wembanyama wins his 3rd NBA championship. Wemby won his very first Finals MVP, and he had averages of 23.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. After winning his 3rd NBA championship, Wemby went into year number 12 with a vengeance, as he just won his 4th MVP, as he had averages of 24.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks. With 3 championships already under his belt, the Spurs are now heading into the playoffs looking to repeat and solidify their dynasty. Can Wemby add yet another chapter to his legendary career? Wemby and the Spurs are back in the NBA Finals, this time with their sight on repeating as champions and winning their 4th ring, but standing in their way is a new challenge: Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic. Spurs just barely beat out the Orlando Magic in game 1 as they win 115-111 to take the 1-0 series lead, as David Robinson led the way, dropping 27, 10 and 4. But game 2 sees the Spurs showing their dominance as they blow out the Magic 119-100 to take the 2-0 series lead, as Sean Elliott led the way, dropping 36 and 2, but Wemby also went off, dropping 27, 9 and 3. But the Magic are not giving up because they went back into Orlando and beat out the Spurs 109-103 to make this a 2-1 series lead. Despite Wemby dropping 34, 9 and 3, it was not enough as the Magic had multiple players in double digits, as Shaq had 19, 5 and 2 leading the way. We are hopping into game 4 here. It is 118-117, minute 42 left to go on the clock. Let's check out the stats, as Shaq is leading the way with 23 and 11, Penny Hardaway with 22 and 10, and on the other end, Wemby is just unstoppable, 35, 11 and 6. David Robinson with 20, 10 and 8. And let's hop right into this game, you guys. Spurs with the ball. Like I said, they are only up 1 point right here. Wemby with the ball. He's got the Gatorade symbol, but he is still trying to go to work here as he's going to put up the layup, no good. Gets his own rebound, and he's going to put it right back up and in as he puts the Spurs up by 3 points. Minute 30 left to go here in the fourth. Still got Penny, and they still got Shaq in the game. Who are they going to go to down the stretch when the Magic need a bucket? Here's Penny Hardaway. Looks like they're trying to run some plays, but they can't really get anyone open as they found Kersey open for the three, and it's no good. Try to tie up the game right there with a clutch three, but he can't get it to go. And here comes San Antonio. Here's Askins. He's going to put up the tough layup. No good. Gets his own rebound. Back out Elliott for the three, and it's no good. I feel like the Spurs maybe should have waited after they taken that weird layup. And here's the Magic on the other end, and it's going to be Wemby on the foul, sending the Magic to the line. Tisdale, first free throw is up, and he's going to get that one to go. And the second one to make it a 1-point game, and he cannot get it to go. Rebound San Antonio, and here is Wemby. Let's see if they take a little bit more time off the clock, and Wemby's going to shoot a step-back three, and he gets it to go. Victor Wembanyama with the dagger three. Oh my goodness, to put the Magic up by 5. Wow. Wemby does not care, you guys. That just threw me off. I was expecting the Spurs to wait it out a little bit, get a nice shot, and he said, nah, watch this step-back three in your mouth. Oh my goodness, man. But here come the Magic on the other end. David Robinson is just locking up Shaq, but he's going to get his own rebound and put it right back up and in, making this a 3-point game, and the Magic are now going to have to play the foul game, and it looks like they're going to get it up to Wemby, but they're not fouling him just yet. It's only a 3-point game. I guess there is a 6-point differential between shot clock and game clock, so the Magic are gonna try to get a stop. Here's Wemby with the pull-up mid-range, and it's no good. That's exactly what the Magic wanted. Here's Hornacek. Magic down by 3, up to Shaq, over to Penny, back out Hornacek for the tie, and he can't get it to go, and now the Magic are gonna have to foul, and the Magic are gonna have to play the foul game now. Here's Vincent on his second free throw right here to make it a 5-point lead, and he's gonna get that to go. Timeout Orlando. It does not matter. The Spurs have won this game and are now up 3-1 in the series. But the Spurs were not able to close out in front of their home court as the Magic went into San Antonio and blew out the Spurs 133-109 to make this a 3-2 series lead. Despite Wemby dropping 27, 14, and 5, it was not enough for Shaq dropping 37 and 7 and Penny Hardaway dropping 27 and 9. But that Game 5 win did not matter because the Spurs would go into Orlando and beat out the Magic to close out the series and win the 1995-96 NBA Finals as Victor Wembanyama completes the back-to-back and wins his 4th NBA championship. Wemby was the MVP of that Finals, and he had averages of 25.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Year 13 marks a new era for the Spurs. While Wemby and David Robinson are starting to show signs of age, the Spurs just added a game changer. Tim Duncan. With Wemby shifting to the 3, the Spurs now have one of the biggest lineups in NBA history and have a newfound big 3 with Wemby, Duncan, and Robinson. In his final seasons, the Spurs struggled to recapture their former glory, often falling in the first and the second round. But despite those struggles, Wemby's legacy is undeniable. And after 17 years pro at the age of 35, Victor Wembanyama has officially retired. Wemby was a 4-time NBA champion, 4-time MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, 13-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA player, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and a 12-time All-Defensive player. Wemby finished 4th with the most points scored all time with 30,800, 4th with the most field goals made all time with 12,100, 7th with the most threes made all time with 1,200, 11th with the most rebounds all time with 13,700, 3rd with the most blocks all time with 3,100, got his jersey retired as a member of the San Antonio Spurs, and of course, he ended up making it into the Hall of Fame. Wemby's career high was 46 points, 3-pointers made was 6, free throws made was 18, rebounds was 23, assists was 11, steals was 5, and blocks was 10. Wemby's best statistical season was probably the 93-94 season where he averaged just under 27 points, just under 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.5 blocks. And in terms terms of he's the GOAT of this generation, he did hold Michael Jordan to only win 2 NBA championships and 2 MVPs, and guys like Hakeem Olajuwon never even won an NBA championship. And if you stuck around to the end, make sure you guys like and subscribe and comment down below which scenario you want to see re-simulated next.